Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dial the Gate, the Stargate Oral History Project. My name is David Reed. Thank you so much for joining me for this pre-recorded episode of Stargate Legos and the fans who make them. We have a few featured Lego artists in this episode, and I expected an interesting discussion, but I mean, this was further than I expected. So I can't wait to get started with the guests here. Before we get started, if you like Stargate and you want to see more content like this on YouTube, please consider clicking that like button. It makes a difference with YouTube and will help the show grow its audience further. Please also consider sharing this video with a Stargate friend. And if you want to get notified about future episodes, click the subscribe icon. Giving the bell icon a click will notify you the moment a new video drops, and you'll get my notifications of any last minute guest changes. And clips from this episode will be released over the next few weeks on the Dial the Gate YouTube channel. For this episode, it is pre-recorded, so the moderators will not be taking questions for the participants of this show. So I appreciate your patience on that. Let's go ahead and bring in the panelists.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate having you. That is, Linda and I have been looking at the creations that you guys have been making for a while now, and it's like, we've got to have them on. So thank you, Starbrick, and thank you, Jake, for responding to our message. We also have a video that I need to download from... Who submitted this, Linda?
This is from Captain Mutant, and it's great. I watched it earlier. It's a really nice video. He did a great job with it. I'm impressed. I need to get some film tips from him, I think.
Okay. Very good. So I also have Frederick here, who's going to help with French translations. Thank you, sir, from Concepts Web. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, and you?
I am well. Starbrick, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are first, and then we will get to Jake. Frederick, feel free to jump in and help.
No. Marc, voudrais-tu nous parler un peu plus de toi et, dans le fond, un peu de ton background?
Ah, ok. Alors, je suis Marc, je suis français.
Je suis Marc, I am Mark, I'm French.
I'm 38 old. Today, it's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Birthday!
Thank you. It's a nice gift today. I'm very, very happy to be with you today. Je parle un peu en français. Hein. Je travaille voilà, dans un domaine relativement artistique. Donc j'aime bien tout ce qui est de ces créations. Je fais des hobbies, de la peinture, je fais des choses comme ça. Donc je suis très porté sur tout ce qui est comment dire les Lego, tout ce qui est création. Je sais pas comment dire autrement.
So I work in a domain that is pretty artistic, and I have a lot of artistic hobbies, and I like to play with anything that is creative, like Legos or anything related to that.
Okay, that's great. Well, thank you. Jake, is it Conhale?
Yes, Conhale.
Well, welcome, sir, and I love your little Back to the Future time box on the shelf there.
Thank you. I built that.
Wow, I'm impressed. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from and how you got into creating your content.
Well, I have been a lifelong science fiction fan. I started with Star Trek, and well, after that, I was a lost cause. I've always had an affinity for math and science and Legos, putting things together, figuring out the problem solving and all that. So eventually, during the pandemic lockdown, it came out to be a natural fit that I'd have to do something there else I'd go stir crazy. My first introduction to Stargate was my parents rented the movie, and I found it completely boring. I remember that, I recall seeing certain scenes from it. Anyways, later on, I rediscovered the film on the Starbrick channel and ended up at one point watching it daily for 2 weeks. And after that, I've also a lost cause on that. Legos offered a challenges for making Stargate stuff, and it just sort of snowballed from there. I started with the gate and went with a puddle jumper, and I've got various small gate room setups in various places, and yeah.
Thank you for that, sir. Starbrick, what is your Stargate story? How'd you get into the show?
Alors, j'ai découvert Stargate avec le film d'Emmerich quand il est sorti au cinéma.
So I discovered Stargate with the movie of Emmerich when it came out in cinemas.
À la base, j'ai toujours été fasciné par l'histoire. Depuis tout petit.
So I always been fascinated with history. So when I was 6, I already knew every Egyptian gods and nations. So Stargate was just something that worked for me because of that.
Voilà. Et puis surtout, Stargate, après, surtout, j'ai toujours été fan. On est des enfants des années 80. Je suis né en 1985. Donc, c'était les séries, l'agence touriste, MacGyver, etc. Donc, quand Stargate est sorti en 97, a démarré.
Veux-tu répéter, car c'est beaucoup d'informations à traduire d'un coup.
Oui. Donc, je suis né en 1985.
So I was always watching those 80s TV shows like MacGyver and... c'est quoi l'autre que tu as nommé? Agent touriste?
18?
Don't need to translate that.
Again.
Et Jim, Knight Rider, etc. Et Richard Dean Anderson, je suis un grand fan. Et quand j'ai vu que la série avait Richard Dean Anderson, j'ai dit jackpot. Voilà, c'est Stargate plus Richard Dean Anderson, ça peut être plus bien.
So basically, when I discovered that Stargate was with Richard and Anderson, and I was already a fan of RDA, it was just perfect match. It was jackpot, like he said.
Very good.
Yes,
Thank you for that, Jake. What are some of your favorite elements of the franchise?
Honestly, in some ways, I think I'm actually more of a fan of the movie than the series. I mean, although I consumed just about most of SG1 and most of Atlantis, couldn't stay at SGU though. The movie got its hooks into me because it's unlike a lot of films. It seemed to have a genuine sense of wonder and exploration into it. Like basically, what is this? What can it do? Not just plot element. Let's go and have adventures. There's just a moment, especially when you see the camera pan down Jackson scene from the conference room, the gate. Just what is this thing? All the potential that lies in there, and the gate going to different worlds and all that. There's just such a potential for storytelling. You never know what you're going to find.
Absolutely. That's I think the nugget of promise that the movie does more than anything so well. Linda, do you have any questions for them before I really dive into their content?
I don't actually have questions, but I thought for our audience, I have a couple sentences on the background of Lego Ideas, just so everybody understands what it is. Shall I go ahead with that?
She's the Lego fan on our side of this, so please, absolutely.
Okay.
This whole thing was her idea.
I looked up on online, and Wikipedia actually has a very nice little synopsis. It says that Lego Ideas was first introduced as an offshoot of the Japanese company. I'm going to pronounce it wrong. My apologies. Kusoo, Cuusoo. It was produced in collaboration between that company and the Lego Group, and titled Lego Kusoo. The site was at first a beta site and remained that way until 2014, when Lego Ideas appeared as a finished product on the Charodix platform. The idea is that people build a model and submit it along with a short written piece. And then if it gets up to 10,000 votes within a certain amount of time, Lego looks at it and seriously considers whether they want to produce the model.
So they have to examine it if it hits.
Yeah, they'll look at it if it reaches 10,000 within the time limit, which I believe is 2 years. Is that right, guys?
Approximately.
What'd you say, Jake?
Approximately.
So
2
they
years.
have. You mean they have 2 years to look at it?
No, well, you have 2 years to get to the 10,000 vote limit, and then I believe 3 times a year they have review sessions where they will consider and either accept or reject yours. Captain Mutant, for sake of history, previously reached the 10,000 vote limit, and his set was rejected with no explanation given. It was just boom, done. He's since reached it again, so here's hoping it works this time for him.
Okay, so and that was a Stargate set.
Yes, pretty much a gate, the embarkation room.
Does anyone know if he's redesigned it?
Yeah,
Yes.
he did. He made some changes to it and resubmitted it. So fingers
Okay.
crossed. There's a lot of criteria, which if anyone goes to Wikipedia, you can read through what all of the criteria is, or of course, if you go straight to Lego Ideas, it'll have the instructions.
Okay.
I can tell you one limitation right off the bat. That you can only submit either an original idea or an approved intellectual property. I tell you this because when I started doing this, SG1 and the movie were not permitted intellectual properties. I could only do Stargate Atlantis, and that's part of the reason I got to making my Puddle jumper, was that all I could do was Atlantis. I did not consider doing SGU themed. So I only
SG1, you mean SG1 themed?
No, I mean I only did Atlantis themed submissions because those are only the things they would accept at the time.
Right, but you said you didn't like SGU anyway, so
SGU, I did not like SGU universe.
Right. But okay.
I'm pretty sure that's because the other brick company in Europe owned the rights to SG1 and Stargate at that
Best
time.
Lock.
Yeah. I'm not
Okay.
sure what their status is on that at the moment. Jenny might be able to help us find out.
Okay. Interesting. Well, that actually answers that. Starbrick, are you with us? You following along?
Pas trop de problème à suivre la conversation.
And I know you're here, but are you following along?
Ça va. Thank you.
Okay. He's fine.
Okay,
It's a
good.
little fast, but it's okay.
What I want to know, and I'm going to start with Starbrick first, is how do you create so much of the Lego pieces are custom? How can you create a Stargate set, or how does anyone create anything so accurate to the to what it is that they're trying to make without having customized pieces? Are you allowed to make your own customized Lego pieces? How does that work, Starbrick?
Alors, j'utilise la plupart du temps des pièces Lego originales. Donc, on essaie d'avoir des torses ou des pièces, des pantalons de minifig qui existent déjà.
So most of the time, I try to use original Lego pieces like chests and pants or pieces like that are usually pretty generic. Continue.
Parfois, c'est juste des torses qu'on retourne parce que certains versos à l'arrière peuvent ressembler à certains torses de personnages Stargate.
Oh, okay. So sometimes we just reverse the chest part because the other side sometimes look like the Stargate uniforms. And he's going to show us an example here.
Celui-ci, ça c'est par exemple, là j'ai fait Jacob Carter, donc le Tok'ra.
Okay, so that's Jacob Carter.
En fait,
Okay.
l'arrière, c'est un buste Star Wars.
Oh, so
that's the back of it.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars Lego piece for the chest, but the other side, when you turn it around from the face, it looks suddenly like a Tok'ra set.
So, chess a Lego set? We're not talking about chess, are we? That's
the chest, the body part.
the chest.
Yeah, the chest and the pants.
Mistake.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, Jake, do you have any input into this?
Yes, Lego does not permit custom shaped pieces. However, they are willing to permit custom designed pieces, that is with graphics and icons and all that.
Okay.
Certain programs, such as the one I use, allow you to actually apply custom graphics to it, and you can also use such as in this case, I've got this one here. This is just me
Yeah.
printing onto a transparent envelope label and cutting to size on the Lego. They permit you to do printing because they're probably going to put it as stickers, but you can't do custom shaped pieces. It's not nearly profitable enough to do that. So
what it comes down to is you have to use the existing Lego collection as it stands to create something new. That's I think reasonable based on what their kind of modus operandi is. So you have to work within their play set and build and show your ingenuity. So can you show us your creation, please?
I've been cannibalizing some of them for parts because I've had about 3 separate generations of Stargates on here. Here is pretty much the first generation Stargate I had. It's pretty close to my current one. It's in 18 segments, and it's built around one mathematical action. Basically, how these 2 pieces are joined right here, the hinges, is structurally sound. So this thing can freely stand. And from that, I built the entire thing, just going with the scale, and it turned out to be about Stargate size, at least the inner diameter of 22 feet in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
It's thicker on the other
Mm-hmm.
joints, but there's only so much you can do. In the past, I've also been able to put lights underneath the colored elements, so I can actually show them line up and engage.
What is that? So you cannibalize those parts from what?
From the sets. I've made other Stargates, and I've been taking pieces off of, say, these, for example.
What were they originally part of?
For the most part, I design on a virtual designer program, and in my case, Studio, and then custom order everything I need, because you never have enough of what you need in the specific type and the specific color. I'm sure Starbrick does the same thing. Yeah. So generation 1. Here's generation 2. Showing.
That's crazy.
Horizon is more basically a test than an actual finalized thing. Which this thing is all right, and the size of the gate is a lot closer to what it was on the show. However, it's not too structurally sounding. Like, it needs the event horizon pretty much, or else it'll sag in there. I've also got a 3rd generation Stargate, which is currently what's on Lego Ideas, and I can send you pictures of that.
Okay.
Pretty much. Let's see, but they all have been able to fit this thing through it.
Yeah.
This is the Puddle jumper, including a full interior inside. The top is removable. The engines and weapon pods come out. The engines can be folded up. It's a little fragile, so I'm not inherently going to do that. It's a little low on detail, mainly because this is more proof of concept on it. And as I said, I'm always tinkering with it. It's got a retractable engine. It folds out on there. And I'm pretty proud of her. I didn't think that it was actually physically possible to make something minifigure scale with a full interior, including a 4-person cockpit and cargo area in the back.
Jake, is any glue involved ever?
No. I mean, they made it. If there's one thing I took from the Lego movie, it's that crazy glue is the devil. I mean, granted, there are some parts of this that probably should be glued on, but I'm always scared I'm going to glue it down and then go, oh, wait, it should be like
right.
this. Oh, I can't get it apart.
That's too late.
now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow, what a beauty. Thank you for sharing that.
I've also got other things, minifigures with third-party elements for, say, holsters, vests, and various things. You can make I've got lights from another third party. You can do a whole lot with it. Just only so much you can submit to Lego.
That's fair. Yeah. Thank you for that. Starbrick, do you, in terms of like ordering specific parts, are you in the same situation? Have you found yourself ordering a lot of can you tell us about this? I imagine there's like a database online of Lego where you can order specific things. Can you tell us a little bit about that, if that is the case?
Alors, en principe, j'utilise moi l'ancien logiciel que Lego avait mis à disposition, ça s'appelle Lego Digital Designer, LDD. On peut tout modéliser en 3D.
Ok.
Donc moi, j'ai commencé comme ça le projet. J'ai tout modélisé et après, j'ai la liste. Du coup, il me donne la liste de toutes les pièces et je peux les commander directement chez Lego.
Ah, c'est pratique.
Please share, Frederick.
So he started the project using an old software from Lego, Lego Designer, something like this. Digital Designer, exactly. And in there, you can like design all your pieces and using all the same already made like border plates from Legos. And then once you're finished with your design, you can simply order those parts, and you can run an analysis of knowing like, okay, I'm gonna need that many chests, I'm gonna need that many pants, that many blocks.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh. So you don't have to order extra parts.
Yeah, basically, you need to order exactly what you need. Yeah.
Wow. Now, does Lego provide this? I apologize. If you have more to say, continue.
Tu peux continuer, ouais.
Oui, non, je disais aussi, il y a beaucoup de pièces aussi que j'ai récupérées quand j'étais petit. Donc, j'ai beaucoup de pièces de Lego en vrac, hein, en quantité. Donc, j'utilise aussi mes pièces, enfin, les anciennes pièces que j'ai. Après, il y a des pièces que je customise avec des stickers aussi, forcément, pour les portes blindées, par exemple. Hein. Donc, je sais pas si voilà, donc
So he already had like a bunch of Legos from when he was young. So he's using a lot of them, and sometimes he's just putting stickers on them, like this blasted door, or right here, all the little Stargate symbols.
That is nuts. Wow. Okay.
Voilà. Après, Lego n'a pas toujours toutes les pièces en stock aussi, donc des fois on doit s'y prendre à plusieurs fois parce qu'ils changent les pièces disponibles régulièrement.
So sometimes Lego don't have all the pieces or parts available, so they have to like retry until they get actually the parts that they need, because they apparently change the availability of parts from time to time.
I would think that creating something, Jake, like a circle would be maddening, you know, especially if you don't intend to glue it together. How do you expect some of these parts to stay together?
Well, honestly, over the course of this whole thing, that has been the most interesting part of seeing my designs and other people's designs is how do people tackle the ring nature of the Stargate? With my designs, I've done a few other things, including a original series Star Trek bridge, for example. I always start with a mathematical element and go from there. Although for the sake of Starbrick, I would suggest if he's having trouble with piece availability, he should try bricklink.com, if I can mention that on this stream.
Brickling?
Bricklink.
Bricklink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a third party to third party site. Basically, I have Lego, I'm selling them. Think eBay without auctions. And they also made their own version of Lego Digital Designer, which has everything up to date, as only fanatical people can keep up to date. So you get, whereas Lego Digital Designer is no longer supported, it's no longer kept up to date. All that. So if you want all the pieces for a set that just came out, like from the new Avatar sets or something like that, they will have it after a reasonable period. So
that's just nuts.
Yeah. So as I said, well, this gate, for example, is all based on hinge pieces around here. You can see them that basically all standing vertical, all that, which is completely different from how I did the first gate. And I've seen other people do things like Starbricks, which are just completely different from how I'd even try it. Which, hey, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all that. And Captain Mutant was doing something different as well. All that.
Yeah, I noticed that everybody had used completely different pieces from each other to try to solve that problem, which that's really fun to me. I like seeing that creativity of how different people come up with the solution.
Is this a good time, Linda, for me to pull up Captain Mutant's submission?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let me go ahead and do that. So
he gives a nice little walk around of his model.
Hey there, I'm known online as Captain Mutant, but you can just call me Cap. This is me in Lego form, but these are also me. Turns out I've created a slew of characters for my YouTube channel for my own enjoyment and hopefully for those of others. I think, like many people, I was introduced to Lego as a child, lost interest as I grew up, then somehow came back into it about 6 years ago. I had a long dark age period, as they call it, and then proceeded with using my imagination to build various sci-fi related constructs. Now, when it comes to the Stargate, I was intrigued with the very concept of such a device when the movie came out, but I didn't fall in love with the franchise until SG-1, and the universe expanded in the most wonderful and imaginative ways. And then, a couple of years ago, I thought, why not combine the two? Now, you'll wonder, how can you create a circle with square bricks? It was definitely a challenge. It took me a few weeks to finalize the design and submit it for the LEGO Ideas contest. It ended up being the very first Stargate project to reach the needed 10,000 supporters, which happened in December 2021. And as of mid-January of this year, it's also the only Stargate project to have managed that feat twice. And this is thanks to all those who loved my design and voted for it in droves. I can't thank them enough. As you might be able to tell, I'm very pleased with my creation, so let me show you some of its features. Now, at first glance, you can tell it's a representation of the Stargate at DSGC, but because it's designed to be a display model, I've distilled it down to its essence, i.e. the gate and the ramp. This means it looks great from any angle, as no walls are there to get in the way. I'm very happy with how the gate attaches to the base, as it looks like it just rests there, but trust me, it's securely attached. You can see from the back all 9 chevrons are represented, and on the front, the inner ring is adorned with all 39 glyphs. The gate is also designed so you can easily slot a piece of cloth, cardboard or similar to represent the event horizon. All that's fun on its own, but you need more for a display set, and I made it so you can have 4 members of SG-1 at the front, a Jaffa Serpent Guard and a Prior by the gate, and a Malt that just rests on the ramp. My set is purposefully small, just under 1,000 pieces to make it more affordable to fans should LEGO decide to approve this concept. This means there's a limit to how many minifigures I can include. To get around that, I use heads printed on both sides and a couple of extra hair pieces to represent either Jack or Cam, or Daniel or Jonas. There's also the option to give Teal'c some hair and for Jack to get older. And how could I forget Vala? She's included too. Under the ramp you'll find a dreaded replicator, but also a giant wrench and a pineapple. I've also included staff weapons, a Naquadah generator, chocolate ice cream, a GDO, a golf club, a cap, a book of ancient knowledge, Schrödinger the cat, a bag of loot for Vala, the Book of Origin, and a Prior's staff. Essentially, I've crammed it with as many Easter eggs as I could. If you're curious and want to know more, I've created many videos about it on my YouTube channel, and a handful even reveals some of the design secrets that make this build possible. You'll also find vids hosted by other crew members who tackle subjects other than LEGO. It's a bit of an eclectic channel. Thanks again for this opportunity to talk about my model, and I'll see you on the other side.
Oh, that's great.
I have to say a lot of those things also apply to my set, but I could not match that eloquence, at least not so quickly.
Yeah, there's a certain amount of showmanship. You can't build that out of a set. You know, he's clearly a good cameraman and everything else. So that's great, especially, you know, with the time that I gave you guys to respond. How, Jake, how often are you inspired by peers?
Oh, well, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with other people's work. For the most part, a lot of these things are designs I either come up with or want to tackle. For example, sometime I'll get an idea in my head and it's almost like a red hot poker sticking into me, like I must go and test this out, try this out, and do this thing. Also, part of it is that I want to try and keep my stuff original, and that I don't want to say, see Captain Mutant stuff and then go, oh, that's a great idea, I should do that as well, to avoid plagiarism. I mean, I'm also doing my Puddle Driver rests on a similar stand. That's more just for the sake of compactness and all that. It's not meant to be a reference or inspired by his work. So to some degree, I mean, I may take concepts for people like, oh, Stargate kind of concept, but for the actual mechanics, I try and keep everything I do for myself. I mean, maybe I'll find a better technique for a small piece or whatever here and there, but the overall design, I try and keep original to myself.
Okay. Starbrick, do you have a similar approach?
Après, c'est vrai que Stargate, on avait 7 projets à un moment, il n'y en a pas eu beaucoup. On s'inspire aussi de beaucoup d'autres créateurs hors Stargate. Hein. Il y a énormément de choses intéressantes.
So yes, actually, really often. So I I get inspired from other creators, not only Stargate ones for Legos, but any kind of Lego creators.
Frederick, do you have any questions at this point, having watched all this stuff? Are you intrigued?
Yeah, I'm actually really intrigued because I was a big fan of Legos when I was younger. I had a whole box filled with them, just like actually Starbrick, who had them in just like in bulk. And I was building like cities to then go around in them with my mechanics. If you know what those are pretty old toys, but yeah, that was something I was doing. So yeah, every time I see a Stargate with round pieces or like wheels and things like that, those didn't exist back when I was using Legos. So that's fascinating to see.
Linda, any questions at this point?
You're using Bricklink to find pieces on. I've gone on there a little bit to try to find the right pieces to put together SG1 for myself. But I was noticing the prices were really kind of scary in places.
Really?
Yeah, because they were a discontinued piece, or there is like a little flak vest that I was trying to get, and I was having trouble with those. Any recommendations for other places to look for those rare pieces, or is it just persistence that's finding those?
eBay.
Okay.
Jake?
Yeah, I'd be curious about that too. For example, I've got this piece right here. It's a Anubis from one of their Egypt sets. Makes a perfect jackal guard from the movie. Costs about $30 per figure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I made the staff weapon. That's all me, but the figure itself is $25, $30. So Captain Mutant tackled that by doing other things from the Chima line, I believe, for some of their headed serpent guard kind of Jaffa. But yeah, sometimes it's just a matter of, I mean, how much you're willing to spend or how creative you can get.
Yeah. I'm going to get creative and get myself a 3D printer to make some of these things. So,
Well, I was exactly thinking, like, it's sad that Lego don't allow to create custom pieces or just not original pieces, because with a 3D printer, you could do pretty much anything you could need.
I think that's what they're afraid of. I think that once someone starts down that road, what's to keep that person from completely cutting Lego out of the loop and no longer going to them to order anything? You know, once you start that off, that community can get out of control. I'm sure the 3D printer technology scares the hell out of them.
Probably.
I would. So
Yeah, you could just print a whole gate in sections and take it apart and put it together.
Right, exactly. Starbrick has 3D printing ever crossed, not for Lego ideas, but for creating Lego sets? Has 3D printing ever crossed your mind?
Est-ce que l'impression 3D a déjà passé par ta tête pour faire soit des sets Lego ou peu importe quoi d'autre qui est créatif?
Non, en impression 3D, j'ai voulu essayer, je me suis pas encore lancé. Et c'est vrai que c'est quelque chose qui m'intéresse beaucoup et je pense m'y mettre bientôt. Ouais.
Okay, so he's not using it right now, but he's thinking about it really seriously.
See, you know, any creative person, I think, would at least consider, okay, what can this tool do? Because what it comes down to is it's a tool. What can this tool do for me? So,
yeah, it would find those really expensive pieces
that's the
exist
thing
in the Lego canon. If I could print up those vests, I know they already have them, but I just can't find them.
Yeah, I'm talking about like an outdated piece, you know, something like under those unique circumstances. It's like, I can't get this thing, and I'm sure there are designs online. I'm sure someone has scanned these things into a computer. Jake?
Well, I honestly, because I've been so focused on Lego ideas, I've never really considered using the 3D printer for Legos. Although a coworker in Maryland did actually 3D print me some glow-in-the-dark bricks, which honestly I do not know where they've gotten up to. Although I have done some other projects with 3D printer. This is a timer from the show Sliders, for example. That with working electronics, it works.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't actually generate a wormhole, but
it looks like an old metal roller.
It lights up and does all sorts of things and all that.
Oh, that is so cool.
Or the Back to the Future clock.
Yeah, I mean the things that the people. You know, this is
Very nice.
the micro Naquita generator. So this is the series that's on top of the big freaking gun from Bounty and from Continuum, you know, and then its brother, the larger one, is being, you know, shipped to me in the next few days here. But this is a 3D print. So and it's completely self-contained. So it's just the creativity in the community it's just extraordinary. So what you guys can pump out and create is just nuts. So
just imagine what they could have done with Stargate if 3D printers existed back in the 90s.
That's certainly the other thing too. So Jake, how far are you from getting to 10,000? What can we do to push you further?
I'm at about 2,600, which, considering how long I've been on there, longer than either I think I started even before Captain Mutant even submitted the first time. I'm at 2,600 out of 10,000. So I've got a ways to go. I've never really been, I'm more of a Steve Wozniak than a Steve Jobs. I'm good at making things. I am not so good at the advertising portion, how people can find or contact, say, actors from the show, like Corin Nemec or whoever, to actually endorse or whatever. Their sets. I'd love to know how to do that. It's one reason I'm so.
We'll talk. Yeah, we'll talk.
But yeah, I've been doing that. Also, I've got a web comic based on Stargate that I've been working on. If you're familiar with Darts and Droids, I'm doing the same thing with Stargate called Gates and Gods. So,
okay.
I mean, not just to plug my own stuff. I mean, it's all about the Legos right now. But
it's part of why you're on. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, any tips I would gladly take. I've got.
Tweet at them.
Yeah, the time's running out. I mean, by all means, I'd love to compete with Starbrick and Captain Mutant here, although I suspect, not proven, I suspect that Stargate Atlantis may be a separate intellectual property for LEGO, and we might be able to get two sets if both going through there, because typically they only permit one set per intellectual property.
Right. I can tell you, dealing with MGM, you can approach them for one of the series or all of them at a discounted rate. So I think as far as this particular piece of merchandise goes, I would suspect they are each on their own. So that's really cool, man. Thank you so much for coming. Starbrick, anything else that you would like to any thoughts that you would like to share before we wrap this up?
As-tu quoi que ce soit d'autre que tu voudrais partager?
Des choses particulières, après, rien de spécial. J'ai réalisé aussi ce gros bonhomme. J'ai juste là.
My gosh!
Oh. Okay. C'est un original. C'est un Lego original que j'ai récupéré dans un vieux magasin. Et j'ai tout refait, j'ai peint, j'ai même fait le gilet.
So it's an old original Lego that he grabbed in a store and he repainted it all and just made a jacket for it. And you can see, like, yeah, even under.
Oh.
Wow.
Il y a des Lego gros comme ça?
C'est des maxi-figures souvent commerciales. C'est dans les magasins de jouets, souvent. C'est pour faire de la publicité.
Ah, so those are actually like store shelves presenting stuff. They're not actually, they're promotional. They're not actually for sale usually. Wow, that's fascinating.
How did you get your hands on that? Did you buy it or did you five-finger grab it?
Ouais, est-ce que tu l'as trouvé dans un magasin ou c'est quelque chose que c'était une petite trouvaille de poubelle ou de coin de rue?
Non, c'était dans un magasin de jouets, effectivement. Je suis passé, c'était ils voulaient le jeter à la poubelle, en fait, quasiment. Bon, après, ils l'ont bradé pas très cher, donc j'ai récupéré très, très peu cher. Par contre, il était dans un état assez abîmé. Donc, j'ai tout refait, je l'ai poncé, j'ai repeint, etc. Il y a beaucoup de gens maintenant qui font des impressions 3D de bonhommes de cette taille-là. Et ça, c'est un original officiel de Lego.
Wow. So he grabbed that in a toy store that was about to trash it. And it was in a pretty bad state. So he got it for a pretty low price and then just sanded it down, painted it, varnished everything, just put it back to a clean state.
Wow, that's really cool. Well done.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
apparently,
upgrade.
those are nowadays 3D printed instead. So
Yeah.
those are rare and actually original Lego
This air.
pieces.
Et les cheveux n'existent pas. Donc, en fait, ça, c'est du silicone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so the hairs are
Nice. All right.
silicone because airs don't
C'est du
exist for
silicone qui a été
Legos.
peint.
That's silicone hair.
It's actually silicone because they don't have air for Legos.
Yeah,
So he just put some silicone on it and painted it.
that's
And
crazy.
That's what it looks like.
We also, does anyone notice? We also have similar set design.
Yes.
Oh.
The same.
Yeah.
From Window of Opportunity. That's really cool, man. Thank you for sharing. So, how far are you from 10,000?
He's there.
Sorry.
Tu
so
as
you're
combien
there.
de 10,000?
He's there. Yeah.
Oh,
All
ouais,
right. Okay. Okay. So Starbrick and Captain Mutant have both hit 10,000. All right. So what else is there anything else that we can do to help promote you guys?
Help get the word out. I mean, I'm sure you guys have got a good viewing base. I mean, and I'm not asking you folks to go out of the way, but I'm open to suggestions.
But the Lego Ideas portal, it's a free, you can vote for free. You don't have to, you just have to create a login. Am I right about that, Linda?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no cost obligation. They're just trying to see if there's enough people interested in the set that if they made it, that they could sell it, is my understanding.
Yeah. I go on about once a month and I vote on all the Stargate projects that are up because I want to support the whole community. So and then I've sent emails to everyone on there. Not everybody's replied to me, but a lot of times people will. And if I can help them out at all by reposting on my Facebook feed, I'm happy to do that. I just, you know me. If it's Stargate, I'm there.
All right. And Jake has submitted gatesandgods.net. And this is a comic that you created, Jake?
Yes, and I've fallen a bit behind in updating, but basically it reimagines the movie as if it were a bunch of people playing a Dungeons and Dragons session. That is, Stargate doesn't exist in the universe except for what they're creating. It's very similar to the concept of Darths and Droids, which treats all of Star Wars as a tabletop game. Just thought I'd mention that.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
This is really cool. So how long have you been working on this?
About a year. I recently moved and had some time between jobs. Since I've gotten a job and bought a new house, that basically I've fallen behind in updating it. I do intend to at least get up to the point where they walk through the Stargate.
Okay.
Not sure if I have the stamina for the entire movie, but why not make the attempt?
I see. Okay. Wow. This is really cool. All right. We will definitely share this.
Yeah.
This is great. All right, guys.
Although I have to say, as much as I am into Stargate, that even if I am beaten by Starbrick and Captain Mutant, I mean, hey, may the best man and best set win. All that. It's not my only thing up there. I've also got a Jeopardy set, which maybe that might be the way to go.
Really?
Appeal.
Like
But,
of the stage of the set itself?
Yep. I won't go into too much detail on that. That's not the subject matter. But yeah, but still, may the best set win.
Absolutely. Well, and it's not like it's one or the other. We can all vote on all of them. So it's I think largely and not exclusively, because creativity, it does have a lot to do with it. It's a lot of it's just exposure and really getting out there and selling your set. So that's really cool. Starbrick, thank you so much for coming and joining us, and
Thank you.
I appreciate you dealing with the language barrier, and thank you, Frederick, for coming on and helping to help us to translate.
My pleasure.
And and Jake, thank you as well. It was a pleasure to meet you, sir, and share some of this creative energy with the crowd. So this has been really cool.
Et
Do you
après, je
guys?
veux juste rajouter
Anyone?
une chose.
Yes, Starbrick, go ahead.
Moi, je veux juste dire une chose, c'est voilà, c'est pas parce qu'on a eu les 10 000 votes forcément que le projet sortira. Si on est en compétition avec d'autres projets très bons, on peut ne pas être choisi.
So what he's saying is that even though they reached the 10,000 votes, they may not win, basically, because if there are many Stargate sets that all reach the 10,000, they're probably gonna make one, maybe two, not all of them. So it's literally like Jake said, may the best set win.
Oh, okay, I understand. Well, and at the same time, it's whether or not they're interested in the property.
Well, there's that. Lego has certain things. They don't like military things, for example. So Stargate may have a strike against it just from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, though they could do Star Wars, but yeah, they don't like guns. They don't like military. But again, if you don't try, then you can't win.
Yes, but in the Indiana Jones set, you have a gun or military figure.
He's saying in the Indiana Jones set, you actually have a gun for the characters. So
They have guns, yes, and yeah, I'm just saying that they don't tend to go for military things and all that, or things that are excessively violent. That's at least in their rules and submission guidelines. All that.
An explorer with a gun is less worth than military people, I guess.
I thought so too. I went to an ice sculpture set of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the 1964 animation, and Yukon Cornelius was deprived of his sidearm, and it was just like, I understand, I get it, but at the same time, I come on. That's a part of that character's identity, and they removed it from the exhibit, or they didn't add it to begin with because it might say X, Y, or Z to someone coming through the exhibit. So, that's just the direction that we're going. And I think that will have a large part to play in whether or not Lego produces any kind of military creations, paramilitary or otherwise. So we'll have to see. It's a legitimate point.
Yeah.
Hey!
They do have the police characters in the city set, though. Of course,
This
they're
is
policemen with dogs, and I'm not sure whether or not guns are included.
Yeah, you don't know if they're armed. Yeah. Look at that little guy.
They're probably going case by case with like lawyers.
I would suspect. Is that a Zat? What's in his right hand?
C'est quoi qu'il a dans la main droite? Un Zat?
C'est un ZAT customisé. J'avais essayé de faire un ZAT en faisant fondre une poignée de seaux d'un Lego, mais Lego n'a pas accepté la création. Donc, j'ai essayé de trouver le plus accurate possible pour faire un ZAT. Voilà, donc j'ai réussi à faire plus ou moins quelque chose qui ressemble. Mais c'est vrai que j'ai pas d'armes dans mes Lego, donc j'ai que les armes extraterrestres en fait. Donc j'ai la lance, j'ai le ZAT. Donc ce qui fait que pour Lego, pour moi, il y a pas de militaire dedans, mis à part l'uniforme.
Ah. So it's a Zat, and it's based on the most close piece that he could find, because he tried doing one with a melted piece, and Lego didn't accept that. So but apparently in his set there's no actual guns. There's only aliens weapons. So like the Zat, the staff weapon, probably the prior staff as well, but like nothing earthy.
Interesting. There we go.
I've been debating trying to do minifigures my own, and I'm wondering if I could include Ronin Dex, because that gun of his, part and parcel.
Yeah.
I want that gun.
Indiana Jones, you can just put him with his whip.
Right. He has some form of defense.
Yeah.
Right.
But then Ronin would be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very Earth gun like. So, all right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. Linda, thank you for arranging this.
Always.
Frederick, thank you for translating. This has been a pleasure.
See you as a side.
I appreciate everyone who contributed to this episode, particularly Linda Fury, my producer, Gategabber. She's the real Lego fan of the crowd here on my side of the production table, and so this episode was really as much for her as it was for everyone else. So thank you, Linda, for making that happen. We have got, you know what? It's been a while since I've shown off the merchandise. Dial the Gate is brought to you every week for free, and we do appreciate you watching. But if you want to support the show further, get yourself a t-shirt or a mug. We now offer a number of different items in a variety of sizes and colors at dialthegate.com/merch. And check out and see what we've got over there. You're supporting the show when you do, and I really appreciate it. Coming up on Dial the Gate, we've got Anna Galvin going to be joining us at 4 p.m. Pacific time today, Saturday, and then joining us this Wednesday, midweek episode, 12 p.m. Pacific time, Tor Alexander Valenza. He's responsible for a number of Stargate episodes. Let's go ahead and pull up his profile here. You can tell I'm pulling for Glennis's profile next week. Alexander Valenza. Let's see which episodes he's responsible for. So Spirits, Holiday, Legacy, and Point of View, Past and Present, Ergo, and Divide and Conquer. And he was also story editor for SG-1 Season 2 and senior story editor for Season 3. So he's going to be joining us Wednesday, February the 22nd at 12 noon Pacific time. Maurice Chapdelaine, actor and Asgard puppeteer. So he's responsible, him and his team were responsible for Thor, Saturday, February the 25th at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And as you probably guessed a moment ago, Eli's mom and Catherine from 1969, Glennis Davies, is going to be joining us Saturday, February the 25th at 12 noon Pacific time. Hope you enjoyed our LEGO discussion. We've got a lot more heading your way. Wormhole Extremists heading your way tomorrow with The Serpent's Lair and In the Line of Duty over on our Wormhole Extremist channel at 12 noon Pacific time. My name is David Reed for Dial the Gate. I appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you on the other side.